All right, everyone. I'm so excited for today and today's session. Today, we're going to be talking about budgeting, year planning, proactive promotions. I would like everyone to take a moment because we're going to give a couple more minutes to kind of let people filter in. We usually wait until about 5 after and then we get started. But I would like everyone to share where they're from in the chat and what they're most excited or looking forward to learning today. I would like to get that information just so I can answer questions and make sure that I'm custom tailoring today's information based off of your specific needs. We're going to be talking about budgeting spreadsheets, which I know is not very sexy and exciting. We're going to go through my presentation and then I'm going to show each one of you how to utilize the spreadsheets you received from today's event. If you did not receive today's spreadsheets, you can go ahead and email hello@opulentbeautyllc.com. And our marketing director will directly email you everything that is in today's session. So we're going to get started. I'm going to move this over. Again, what you're looking forward to learning today. And there we go. Okay, so first we're going to start off with who I am. I am Patricia, and I am the owner of a company called Opulent Beauty Pro, where we help salon owners regain freedom and understanding inside of their business. I'm also a commissioned salon owner, and I have a 9-chair salon with 14 commissioned stylists. I also own 9 salon suites that I rent out to independent stylists. And I am really excited about numbers because when you understand different numbers and information in your business, it really allows you to make educated decisions to really pivot your growth and to create the results that you want. I'm obsessed with education. I invested so much time, money, and resources to really build all of the knowledge that I had today. Education has been a passion of mine, and I really do love sharing and helping other salon owners grow. The reason why I'm so passionate about helping other salon owners grow is I think there's such like a glamorization around salon ownership or just business ownership in general. And a lot of people think that owning a salon is going to be fun and easy. And what ends up happening is we end up building a financial prison for ourselves. We open these big spaces. It's harder to find team members sometimes. Sometimes we do have great team members, but like our budgeting is off. And a lot of salon owners get stuck working, 30 to 40 hours behind the chair and then having to work, 25 to 30 hours on their business. And it just is a crazy amount of work, and it ends up being more of a prison than something that brings us fulfillment. So before we begin, I just want to say that I am not an accountant. Everything that I am sharing with you today is what I utilize and how I do things inside of my personal business. Any information, anything that I share with you today, I highly recommend that you speak to your accountant or financial professional to see if it's suited for your business, if it's going to be beneficial for your business. Everyone's business is unique to them, and your overhead is going to be different than my overhead, and making sure that you are speaking to the right person before implementing anything is always advice that I like to give. So the truth is, if you don't know the truth in your business, you can make a lot of bad decisions. I think a lot of us, really don't take the time to break down the numbers on a weekly basis. And when we can understand what our business is costing us and understand the facts behind our business, because numbers don't lie, it really allows us to make very, very educated decisions in our business, especially when it comes to growing, when it comes to knowing how to scale our business, because there's a difference between growing your business and scaling your business. Growing your business is utilizing financial resources to grow what it is that you are creating. Scaling your business is actually growing the business without having to utilize financial resources to experience better results. So understanding the email's hello@opulentbeautyllc.com. Before we move further, I would love everyone to grab a pen and a piece of paper because you are going to write down all of the things that I'm going to share with you today. And I will put the email in the chat so everyone has it on hand. There we go. You should have received the spreadsheets. If you did not, check your spam. A lot of our emails end up going into spam. So I would check your spam first and see if there is an email from us. If there's not an email from us, then I would go ahead and I would email hello@opulentbeauty.com. Okay. So today you will walk away with a solid understanding of last year's numbers, which is very important to understand how to grow this year. You need to understand what you did last year. So a solid understanding of looking at your numbers from last year, this year's projections, and the ability to set realistic financial goals for yourself. Clarity, you'll discover what is and is not working for your salon when we look at our numbers. That's what we can get really, really clear on. And then confidence to stop winging things and the ability to make educated decisions inside of your business. So one of the things that this has done for me inside of my salon is I went and talked to my accountant for this, 2023. My profit margin for 2023 was 20%. And the reason why my profit margin was 20% was because I take the initiative to understand everything that's happening in my business, and I understand where my highest profit margins are. And the average profit margin for most salons, almost every salon, is 7%. So I'm about 13% above average. I would say, I take that back. It's about 8 to 10% profit margin. So when we dial in and we really look at these numbers and you utilize the resources that I'm going to give you today, it'll allow you to understand how to create more profit inside of your business and to create the results that you want. I think getting really clear on what your end goal is or what your 5-year goal is really important. There are some people who want to work behind the chair forever, and there are some people who don't. For me personally, my business, I really don't do hair that much. I do hair because I want to do certain things in my business and I want to set the example for my team. So my 20% profit margin is actually coming from my team. I probably work anywhere from, I would say, 1 to 3 days behind the chair. Each day I only take 1 to 2 clients, and that is it. I do not double book. I would say the most amount of clients I take in a week is probably 5, because I really want to focus on working on my business and not working in my business. So I also want to add that I am not working 30 hours a week behind the chair. I would say I work no more than 30 hours a month. So these are the documents we're going to go over today. Again, if you have them on hand, I highly recommend pulling them up while we're going to go over these together. You can kind of play with, different entries for yourself. You can also visit opulentbeautypro.com yearly planning events if you want to download these again. So thanks to my marketing director, she set this up for you. Perfect. So you can go here and also download the documents as well. These are the 4 things that we're going to go over today. It's going to be your stylist revenue calculator, your fixed overhead calculator, your service profit calculator, and your salon budget. So those are the 4 spreadsheets we're going to go over today. These spreadsheets, and we're going to go into them in about a minute, are going to be customizable, and you can interchange any of the things that are inputted already with a simple click of a button and typing. So I really made them so that anyone could utilize them for really any area of their business. So these are the numbers to utilize the spreadsheets that you want to have ready. You want to have last year's total revenue. That's gross revenue without any expenses taken out. You want to have last year's monthly revenue. Again, gross revenue, nothing taken out. You want to know what your monthly rent is. Each stylist 2023 revenue. You want to look at your color expenses, your supply expenses, your support staff expenses, your debt payments, if you have a loan taken out, and all of your fixed overhead expenses. Your fixed overhead expenses are going to be any expenses in your business that do not change. So that's going to be your rent, your insurance payments. It's going to be your booking system, whatever you're paying for that, your phone bill, all of the things that pretty much stay the same every single month that never go away. So those are going to be your fixed overhead expenses. So we want to stop winging it in our business. We want to commit to looking at our numbers weekly. You all need to be obsessed with what is happening in your business financially so you can make educated decisions. And when we are planning for business growth, healthy business growth is important. We always want to shoot for a 20% increase from year to year. That is really doable. That is a healthy business growth. We also have to understand when we know what our business costs, it gives us the ability to project on how much we need to make in order to create profit for ourselves. So let's just say, your business costs for the year are $120,000. Well, you know that in order to cover the revenue and then some, you need at least $240,000 in revenue created or generated. And that's just like pretty much to break even, right? So understanding what you can plan for the year, or as a new business owner, when we're looking at the cost of our business, it allows us to really project on what we need to make every single month in order to stay open. Most salons close after the first, I would say, 18 to 24 months. Not because of, it usually is because of a lack of cash flow. It also comes from a place of people open salons and they don't realize the difficulty that it brings, the stress it brings. There's a lot of things that factor into why salons close, but most salons close after 2 years of being open. I'm going to check the chat really quick. Not looking for anything specifically, just opened my first salon and here to get what help I can going forward. I love that, Jessica. Hi, Jessica. So glad you're here. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to go over today, I'm going to go through all of the spreadsheets, what they are, how to utilize them, and then we're going to go through them together. So your stylist revenue calculator is really, really important. What the stylist revenue calculator is going to do for you is it's going to show you what percentage that each one of your stylists is bringing in for your gross revenue. This is why understanding where our stylists are inside of our business, because it's going to show you your top performers. It's going to show you where your employees, who and where they're falling short. And it's going to show you your business vulnerabilities. So for example, one of my stylists, after I did this in the beginning of year for 2023, one of my stylists is bringing in 25% of my total revenue. That is a huge liability for my business. Having one person bringing in such a chunk. Actually, one person is bringing in 25% of my total revenue, and then my other stylist is bringing in 20%. So that's 45% of my total revenue being brought in by two people. And this was really eye-opening for me, and I think this is really important for salon owners to really look at, is because if those two people leave, 50% of my revenue is gone. That is putting me in a really tough spot. So it allows you to look at your business and where do you need to pivot, right? That showed me that for 2024, my focus for my business is working on client loyalty, We're creating all sorts of client loyalty programs, memberships, point systems, just, retention strategies for guests in the salon. So I can build that relationship with the people coming in my business and not putting all of that relationship in with the stylist and the client, right? Like, granted, clients are going to leave, but it allowed me to pivot my strategy so I could really focus on the things that can keep the stylist and the clients in my business so that I am not in a huge vulnerable spot. Another thing that this is going to show you is, yeah, we know who our top stylists are, right? But when we can see the percentage they're bringing in and we can understand that, it allows us to look at these key components and these key players in our business and really pay attention to what they're doing right. Why are these people busy? Why do these people retain clients? Why are these people attracting new clients? When we can dissect what they're doing right, create a system, that means that we can create repeatable business tactics that they are doing and train our other team players, right? It also shows the employees who are falling short. We know that new stylists are going to have a very small percentage in our overall revenue, right? But it also shows you the people that maybe have been with you for 1 year, 2 years, maybe 3 years, and they're still not building, they're not growing. That means there's a hole and gap in what they're doing. And when we can actually see those numbers, it allows us to really dissect what they aren't doing correctly so we can close their gaps and help them grow, or even just make the decision altogether to understand if they're right for our business. So that's why I really like looking at the facts and the numbers and utilizing this stylist revenue calculator, because it's something that really opened up my eyes to just understanding the dynamics of each key component inside of my business that is brought in by each team member that I have working for me. We have our fixed overhead calculator, and this is going to give you an overview of your monthly fixed expenses so you can accurately budget for 2024, which we're going to go over this together. What you'll take away from our fixed overhead calculator is expenses in your business that typically do not change. So again, that's going to be your rent, your insurance, all of those things that are your bare bones to stay open and essential, and things that you typically are expecting to pay month to month. It's going to show you where you can make adjustments, perhaps in your spending, and looking at things that possibly maybe aren't necessary in your business or areas that you could possibly cut. It's going to determine if your pricing is, accurate versus your expenses. And it's going to determine how much it costs to run each station in your salon. Utilizing this fixed overhead calculator, I know that each one of my stations costs me $7 per hour. So when I am looking at setting up my stylist pricing, and when I'm looking at pricing my different services, I know that I need to factor in $7 to cover every single hour there is a stylist working at each station. So most people, when they're thinking about their business and they're thinking about setting their price point, they're not actually factoring what their overhead is or what the cost of their business is. They're only looking at products. But it's so much more than just the products they use. It's every single expense that goes into running our business that we have to factor into those prices to ensure that we make a profit. Every single service inside of your salon needs to generate some sort of profit. Each service is going to generate a different profit margin, and each stylist's pricing is going to generate a different profit margin, because we've got our lower end stylists that have to be priced lower because, that's what they're valued at. And we've got our higher, price stylists who are going to generate more of a profit margin because of their experience, their technical, their, everything that goes into their business, right? So we really have to dial in the numbers and understand what the space costs so we can factor that into what we're charging our guests. Our service profit calculator is going to allow you to look at your pricing, and it's going to show you the profit margin of each service inside of your business. Even if you do hourly pricing or session pricing, you can still utilize the service profit calculator. It's going to help you dial in on your pricing. It's going to help you understand the total profit per service. It's going to help you determine if you are losing money on a specific service or if you're making money. When I did the service profit calculator, one area where I saw we were bleeding out was our fashion colors. Because there is so much product that goes into those services, and the cost of the fashion color tubes are much higher than regular color tubes because there's no developer. I knew after using the service profit calculator that I had to adjust those prices so that we could make a profit off of them on our stylists who were new and who were doing this service most of the time because the price point was right for our clients, right? It's also going to help you make adjustments to ensure that all services are profitable. And it's going to show if you need to eliminate services that are just not profitable altogether. And then we have our salon budget spreadsheet. This is my favorite spreadsheet out of all of the spreadsheets that you received today. I utilize this spreadsheet monthly and I utilize it weekly. And by utilizing this, it can be really used in so many different ways. It can help you project if you want to grow and what you need to actually create in your business to hit your goals. It allows you to create a realistic budget based off of your week's projection. So if you are not using a booking system that will predict your weekly sales by the services that are booked in your schedule, you need to switch booking systems. I can pull up our projected week and it will give me an estimate or a guesstimate of what the salon's total revenue will be for a week. And that is what I utilize to budget, what I utilize to order my products, and what I utilize to set the schedule for support staff. So I stay on budget because there's no other way to do that. We have to look at what projected sales are going to be in order to stay on track so we don't go over budget. Again, this is what I've utilized to create that 20% profit margin for myself for last year, is I really put in and looked at my numbers every single week to see what my projection was, knowing that projected sales on Monday can change. We can look at our projected sales and people can cancel. We can look at our projected sales and people can book last minute. But if you're looking at your projected sales every single week and you see that there are opportunities in the schedule to be filled, when we see that, we're more likely to be proactive and try to fill those appointments and utilize the marketing strategies we have and really, set things into place in order to get people inside of our business, right? Social media, email marketing, Google ads, these are all things that we should be utilizing to market and to grow our business. And when we see that we have a really slow week, then we can put those things into hyperdrive and we can really push the result that we want by hitting those different areas really hard to get those sales that we need in order to be successful. So it'll allow you to understand your busy and slow months. It will also allow you to implement changes and adjust marketing. And it will allow you to accurately predict your profit for this year. So when we're looking at 2023 and we're looking at last year, I want everyone to pull their numbers and I want you to look at your best months and your worst months. And you'd be surprised. Our best month, like literally for the last 4 years, has been May, which is really kind of funny to think about when I look at those numbers. It's not December. It's not, during the holiday peak season. It's May. It's when summer's coming around. People have events to go to. They have weddings. We're very extension focused. And that's when people are really wanting to look their best for all of the things that they have coming up within the next spring and summer months. It also allows you to look at your very slow times. I started doing this, and I know that January, like most other salons, was our slowest time of year, which allows me to create a proactive promotion to push sales during that month, right? We all get nervous when we look at our numbers and things aren't looking great, which can make us and push us into making reactive decisions or do reactive promotions like $25 off if you come in today, or we're having a sale at 10% off to fill these spots. Like that just seems desperate. But when you are doing a proactive promotion, like I do every single year for January, I know January is slow. I know that we have very loyal extension clients, and we do a 10% off all new extension installs and extension hair during the month of January. And that really has pushed and driven sales up for that month. And it's an annual sale. We do it every year. I know that my highest profit margin is off of our extension hair. So in January, not only am I pushing sales, but I'm pushing sales that generate a high profit margin for my business. Because I understand that my profit margin, because of the way I purchase my hair for my business, our markup is 200%. And we give a high commission to my stylist on the extension hair, which allows them to make money during that month as well. So when we're looking at our numbers, we can strategically plan to create results that we want. And it's not like I'm posting last minute, oh, a hair sale, hair extension sale. No, we have very thoughtful, very purposeful marketing tactics to lead up to that month. And since it's something we do every year, clients already know about it, they already expect it, and they already plan for it. So really taking a look at month to month from last year, the year before, and looking to see what the constant trends are with your revenue. If you are a new business owner or a new salon owner, you're not going to have the information, right? But what you can do is pay attention this year and look at your own personal numbers from last year. I'm assuming you were either at a commission salon or you were on your own in a salon suite renting a chair. You're still going to have consistent results because you're still going to be behind the chair. Okay. So you can still utilize those numbers. Just know that they will grow and change because you're in a completely different business structure and you're going to have employees. So all those things will definitely make a big difference or change and be different going into this year. So these are the things you really want to look at when you're looking at last month's numbers. What happens and what actions took place in your high months. This is another thing I really like to tell people to do. When you do certain things in your business, like run Google ads, hit email marketing hard, really heavily focus on social media, take notes and put it in your calendar, really kind of, write detailed descriptions of what you did every single month that was business focused for you, right? Like if you look at last year and, you did really well, let's just say in March, what did you do last March to get those results? Were you really active on social media? Did you start email marketing? When we write the information down of the actions we take, it allows us to understand what is driving results in our business. So you need to pay attention to what you're doing and the marketing tactics you're utilizing. Maybe one month you ran a new Google ad or you upped your Google ad amount, right? Write it down in your calendar. Take notes so that you can duplicate it for the rest of the months in your business and you understand what's driving results in your business. Looking at it, was it seasonal, right? Like I know spring is our best month because people are getting ready for events, right? So May is our biggest month. It's seasonal. I know that. What was your most successful service during that month? That's another thing to look at. Did you launch a new service? Did you heavily focus on a new service? Did one of your stylists decide that they were going to specialize in a service that month? Did you bring on a new service like extensions? We need to make sure that we're paying attention to our services as well, not just the stylist, but all of the information that are, that are driving those results. How can you duplicate it? What didn't you do during the low months? Like, did you take a break from social media? Maybe you, were overwhelmed and you didn't do your email marketing for 1 month. We need to record all of the information and we need to pay attention to it. And then you want to keep track of this year's actions month to month. So that's something that you should add to your to-do list. And you should start really just documenting everything. So back to proactive promotions, not reactive discounting. Proactive promotion involves initiating marketing activities such as special offers before the need arises to stimulate demand and to create positive brand imaging. Reactive discounting involves offering discounts in response to a decrease in sales or to counteract competitive pressure. This approach focuses on immediate sales recovery, not generating sales proactively. Both strategies have their merits, but proactive promotion aims to build a longer-term customer loyalty, while reactive discounting focuses on short-term sales recovery, right? Does everyone understand the difference? Proactive promotion is planning for your business. Reactive discounting is reacting to what's happening in your business. We never want to be reactive in our business. I mean, we do when it's needed, but we always want to be as proactive as possible. So we are going to go over these spreadsheets today. And does anyone have any questions thus far about the material that we've already gone over? I would like to go over the spreadsheets just to kind of show you how to utilize them. And then you can kind of play around with them today on your own. Let's see here. So we are going to start with your stylist business percentage, because this is the first spreadsheet what we went over today. Actually, let me see here. It's service profit calculator. Actually, hold on. Let me see here. Okay. I'm going to do this and this. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So this is the first spreadsheet we're going to go over today. This is the stylist business percentage. How you utilize this spreadsheet is, I like to do this at, I would say, like, you could do this December, like end of December, beginning of January, because you want the entire stylist revenue for the whole year. How I utilize this is I put everyone's name in here. So let's just say I had my stylist. We'll use Melanie as an example. We have Melanie. She brought in, let's just say she brought in $150,000 to the business last year. Our total salon revenue, let's just say was, let's say 750,000. With this, Melanie brings in 20% of our total revenue. So let's just add my other stylist, Amanda. Let's say that she brought in 125,000. So we're going to do, so she brought in 16%. So when we have this, it gives us the understanding of where each person is in our business, what percentage of the revenue they're bringing in. Another reason why this is really important is our stylists leave, right? And when we are projecting our sales for the year or even the month, when we have a stylist that leaves, we need to reflect those changes on our future budgeting. So let's just say my stylist Melanie decides to leave and she's, leaving this month, and I need to adjust my budget now. I know that I'm probably going to lose anywhere from 15% to 20% of my total revenue. So when I'm projecting my, costs, when I'm projecting my, my ordering, all of those things, when I'm projecting the total revenue coming into the business, if I have a financial goal set for the year, I know that I should probably plan for about 15% to 20% less. So having this is really important. Also, your stylists need a way, they need metrics. You need metrics in order to understand and really dial into their growth, right? Like we have to look at their numbers so we have attainable information that allows us to dial into what their growth is inside of our business. So, when we do this from year to year or month to month, we can track our stylist growth, what they're growing financially inside of our business or how they're growing financially inside of our business, and really utilize this to make decisions in our business. Maybe like Melanie's bringing in 20% of my revenue. Maybe I was going to bring in a big educator in a few months. Well, now I know, like, okay, so maybe I need to focus on, cutting my spending if she's leaving, because 20% of that revenue is going to be gone. So I really love doing this because you can utilize it in so many different ways, and understanding where each person is in our business is really important. Okay, so Brandy says, if you have a new stylist join the team while you are planning, would you put projected quarterly numbers in for this budget sheet purposes? So this is just for last year. I think that question really is, it's going to vary. Does this person have, does this person have any clients? That's something to think about. If it's a new stylist, is it a new stylist in training? Is it somebody who's been in the industry for a while? Do they know their numbers from their last salon? Do you know what growth looks like in your business? And what is the drive and desire that this person has? So for me, I really give my stylist 90 days, new stylist, but fully booked. Then how I would project that is, when somebody comes over to our business, when it's a new stylist who's fully booked and they're coming to our salon, average loss of clients is up to 30%, right? They can lose up to 30% of their business when they move salons. And there are a few reasons why clients don't follow us. It could be location. It could be that they're loyal to the salon. It could be that they, wanted to not come with the stylist because maybe they wanted to try somebody new. So if somebody's coming over to you with a full book, budget for 30% less. And then you can factor those numbers into your budget. So for easy math sake, if this person is, their total gross sales was $100,000 for the year, last year is their gross sales that they brought in, then budget for 70,000. Expect that. I just explained to my salon of 8 years, it was a major renovation, and I feel like I'm back to square one with figuring out my new numbers and moving forward. I'm super excited for the future, but I have butterflies and I'm anxious feelings again. Oh, you expanded your salon of 8 years. Yeah, when we expand our salons, like obviously that's an expense anytime that we upgrade. Whenever we're thinking, I'm totally going off tangent here. If any of you are thinking about expanding your salon, if you're thinking about growing to more chairs, if you are thinking about business growth, everything seems so exciting and shiny and new. But when we're making business decisions, we really have to look at our return on investment. And if you are somebody who wants a bigger salon and you want to expand, and I don't know what your name is, it just says iPhone, and this is not like geared towards you, but I really do want to share this. Before you expand, please make sure that your business is running at full capacity. When your business is running at full capacity, that's when you know it's time to grow. And full capacity, oh, hi Kenya, how are you? Full capacity is you have somebody working on each one of your stations, open to close, every single business day you're open. That's when you're ready to grow. That's when you're ready to expand. Morning shift, evening shift, you have, if you have a 10-chair salon, that means you've got 20 stylists working for you. If you're an 8-chair salon, that means you've got 16 stylists working for you. There is somebody working on a station every single shift. That's when you are maxed out. That's when it's time for you to grow. It's really easy to jump on the next shiny thing and want to like have something bigger and better. But you really need to ask yourself, how long is it going to take to see a profit? How long is it going to take to grow this business? And, you know, what does that return on investment really look like for me? And how long is it going to take me to pay off this debt? And how long is it going to be before I can see a profit, right? So those are the things we have to ask ourselves when we're thinking about opening or, you know, growing our business. Okay, so on to the next spreadsheet. We're going to look at our service profit calculator, and this is going to help you, dial in. Hold on, let me pull this up. This is going to help you dial in your pricing, okay? So when we're looking at our service pricing calculator, you can utilize this in so many different ways. If you are utilizing hourly pricing, amazing. If you are doing package pricing, amazing. If you are doing a la carte, amazing. This spreadsheet can be used for all of those, right? There are a couple things you want to look at when it comes to your service profit calculator. Why are we using this? One, we want to make sure that we are priced appropriately to either break even or to make a profit on every single service happening in our business. Now, what do I mean by breaking even? Our newer stylists who are growing or who are taking models, we need to make sure that like we're at least like breaking even on them, right? We have to start somewhere. And when we are taking on new stylists in our business, it's an investment, right? We're investing in them to see a return on investment later. When they raise their prices, when they grow their clientele, these are all the things that we have to think about. So when we're utilizing this calculator, you want to put your commission rate here. Your pricing is going to go here. So if say you have somebody who is charging, you know, $100 an hour, and this is a 3-hour service. If you have a package that's $300 for like a highlight and a haircut, let's just say, you know, or maybe your haircuts are $300, whatever. The price of the service is going to go here. So we're going to stick with the $300. You're going to put your commission rate here. Commission is 46% based here. It's whatever your commission is. Once you put your commission rate in here, it's going to spit out what the stylist is making off of each service. So this stylist who's making 46% commission is going to make $138 off of the service. We have to pay payroll taxes on the commission total that's paid by the salon owner. I think it's 6.2%. That may have changed. That is costing the business $8.56. Your total employee cost is going to be $146.56. So this is what you have to pay, right? So this is their total commission and your payroll taxes on the service. That leaves you with $153.44 for the salon's portion, okay? You need to dial in on what each service costs you, which I think is very difficult for a lot of salon owners. There are a couple ways that you can do this. We have standards inside of our salon, mixing guides, all of the things. So my team knows what they can mix for each service. If they need to mix more, they need to upgrade the service, okay? So let's just say for easy math's sake that this service, the product cost was $15. That could be color, whatever. Foils, it's $15, which leaves us with $138.44. Let's just say fixed overhead costs. We're going to change this. And this is why this is so important. So let's just say my fixed overhead cost is $21. Now your fixed overhead cost is going to be all of your fixed expenses, rent, your booking system, your insurance. And again, that's going to be broken down per hour per station. So let's just say that was $7 an hour, 3 hours, that's $21. Again, we're factoring in what our space and what our business costs are for each service, so we actually make a profit. That leaves us with $117. Processing fees, if they pay with a credit card, $2.75, which is going to be $8.25. This is coming off the $300, not this, which leaves us with $109 left for profit for this specific service, for this specific stylist. If you have, if you are utilizing Salon Scale and passing the product cost to the client, would you skip? Yes, I would skip that because the client is paying for that. So that'll leave you with more of a profit. So that leaves us with $109. Now we're going to take this same formula and let's just say we have a new stylist who is only charging $150 for the same service because, you know, they're new, their technical skill isn't the same, their client experience, they're still working on that. Now, when we have $150, that leaves us with a profit of $36.60, and that's before taxes. So it's really important to understand that, you know, that and understand and know like what each thing in your business is going to produce profit wise so that we make a profit. I think, you know, a lot of salons set their prices based off of other salons they've worked at, what their current pricing is, you know, based off of like the salon next door, and we cannot do that. Like for me, like my rent for my salon, well, my total rent is $8,000 a month, right? The space next door to me, like literally it's like a couple buildings down off of my busy street. Their rent is astronomical. So for my space, like I can't charge the same as them or they can't charge the same as me because their overhead is different. So we really need to look at our overhead when we're setting our prices and understand that, you know, the services need to be set to make a profit. It is okay to make a profit in your business. It's okay to want to make money in your salon. We're not doing this because we love hair. We're doing this because we're business owners and businesses are meant to make money. If you are not going to make money inside of your salon, don't do it. You will just end up hating your life. Your work has to be worth the time you're putting in. You have to create a successful, secure place for people to have their businesses because they're relying on you to be responsible and they're putting their whole career in your hands to help them grow, to help them achieve the things that they want to achieve. And you have to understand your financials and be financially successful in order to do that. Okay, so say we have somebody who wants to work on their highlighting skills and they want to take models, right? They're like, I really want to take models. We only take paying models in my salon. We never do hair for free. Our models are at a low hourly rate. But again, I need to make sure that whatever prices are being set are going to at least cover the cost of the business. So let's just say someone wants to do the same service. They want to take a model, but they only want to charge $75. Okay, I'm breaking even. That person can charge $75 as long as their product costs do not go over $15. Okay, so this is really useful. You can put a bunch of different price points in here. They'll all shoot out what the profit margins are. You can do all, you know, all of your services. Like, let's just say you want to do your, you know, basic highlight service. with all your different price points. It's going to show you what all your different profit margins are. So I really highly recommend playing around with this, making sure that your services that you have inside of your business are going to be beneficial for you and your stylist. Again, maybe you're a salon owner and you're playing around with your commission rate. Maybe you want to see, you know, like what commission you can give your stylist, right? And, you know, playing around with this number too, to make sure that this, you know, is again, making a profit. I know in my salon, like I cannot give any more, like my base rate is 42% because of my overhead, because of the cost of business. I have a sliding scale. So the stylists who are priced higher, who generate more revenue, will make more commission because they've earned it and because the business can afford it, right? So you really need to look at your commission rate too and play around with that to make sure that it, you know, and see how it affects this total profit as well. All right, couple more spreadsheets. These are off of numbers, and you might be able to pull it up on your Google Drive, but I made all of these spreadsheets in numbers, which is either you can either use it on your phone or if you have an Apple computer. I'm not sure if these are compatible with Google Drive, but I can double check that for you. Okay, next we're gonna go over our full capacity calculator, which let me pull this up. Fixed overhead calculator, I'm sorry. Okay, so when I talk about my space costing me $7 per hour per station, this is the fixed overhead calculator that helped me get that number. How you want to utilize this spreadsheet is you want to put all of your fixed expenses here: rent, phone, insurance. You can add whatever it is that you have, payroll estimate. Your payroll estimate is not your revenue producing employees. It is your support staff that stays consistent every single month. It's if you are taking a salary from your business, it's a manager, right? It's the things that you need to pay for that do not, it's the people that you need to pay for that do not generate revenue for you, okay? It is an expense. Your support staff is a liability, right? Your stylists who are bringing in revenue, they're generating the actual, what is the word I'm looking for? They're actually generating results for your business, right? They're not in this portion of the payroll estimate. You're going to do laundry, amenities, whatever it is. When you enter in all of these numbers, it's going to give you a monthly cost, right? In order to make a profit, if your total overhead for the month is $10,000, then you need to at least plan to generate at least $30,000 to cover your expenses and to make a profit. Does that make sense to everyone? Because you need $10,000 for your payroll to pay your stylists. I mean, that's just easy math with 50%. And then your fixed overhead costs, which is $10,000. And then you're going to need to cover your expenses for your products, because products are not in this portion because those fluctuate and change every month. So plan on guesstimating at least needing at least a $30,000 gross revenue to make a profit in your business, okay? Then we're going to go over here. How many hours are you open per month? This is, I think, based off of like 4 weeks, and then however many hours you're open per week, okay? 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours. What are the total amount of hours you are open and you are operating? That's going to give you $42 per hour for your entire business. Your entire business needs to generate at least $42 an hour to break even for your fixed overhead expenses. This is bare bones. If you have 9 stations, each station is going to cost you roughly about $5 per hour. And each day if you're open 24 days per month, is gonna, you need to generate at least $420 per day in order to break even for your bare bones expenses. Does this make sense to everybody? So when you are factoring in your pricing, know that $5 should at least be considered for every single hour that each service costs you. So this should be rolled into the cost of each service. Does this make sense to everybody? Give me a thumbs up if it does. Now, notice 9 stations, $5 an hour. If I have 9 stations and I'm only working at 50% capacity, then this is going to go up to $10. Does that make sense? Because I don't have people working on the stations that are open, right? So we have to look at that too. What is the capacity that your salon is working at? Are you at 25% capacity? Are you at 50% capacity? Are you at 75% capacity? Or are you at 100% capacity? Because that's going to determine this cost as well. And then last but not least, we're going to go over the budget for the salon. Now, this projected budget is done in a couple different ways. We have our projected month. We have our projected week. When we're looking at our spreadsheet, these numbers and these things are going to change, right? Put your commission here for your stylists. I came in a little late. Where do we go to get these spreadsheets? You can go to, let me look, it's listed on the thing. It's Opulent Beauty Pro / year planning event is where you can get these spreadsheets. Or if you put your information in to get the invite for today, check your spam. It's probably in your spam because we emailed these with your invite for the class. It was a separate email, and a lot of our emails go into your spam. So I would check your spam, or you can email hello@opulentbeautyllc.com and Megan can send you these spreadsheets. So when we're looking at our budget for the month, we have our stylist pay, we have what our support staff will be, what our rents will be, our back bar, taxes, all of these things here. Now, when we're looking at these percentages, when you're planning for the month, you may have to adjust your support staff, your rent percentage, and all of these things because your monthly revenue may change, right? Again, we're looking at last year's numbers in order to project what this is. And we're also looking at our projections from the schedule that we have inside of our booking system where we already have clients booked. For me, I look at last year's gross revenue for each month to plan for this year. I know that my bare minimum for growth is doing the same thing I did last year. My hope is that I generate at least 20% more than last year because that means my business is growing. I'm in a healthy place. But when I'm setting my budget, I look at last year's numbers because I'm pretty consistent from year to year in my sales growth and in the amount of, I don't want to say revenue I do every month, but I know my slow months and I know my busy months, if that makes sense. So let's just say for the month, we are looking at a total revenue of $50,000. So that is my projected revenue. Let's just say that's my projected revenue for April. So I did 50,000 last year. So I'm thinking I'm going to do 50,000 this year. Fingers crossed. The schedule looks good. My projections look good. I know that my total payroll costs for the month, because I give, let's just say 42% commission. I bumped that up to 45 because I know that I need to cover, my payroll expenses and my taxes. So I know for May that I'm roughly going to do about 22,500 in payroll costs. Now, I want to make sure that I have out of this amount here, that I have enough money to cover my rent. A healthy rent percentage is no more than 10%. If your rent is 10%, you're pretty good. If it is more than 10%, you need to generate more revenue, right? So I know that my rent is, it's $8,000 a month. So 10% isn't going to be enough. So I need to change this number to make sure that I have enough money to cover my rent, which is going to be around 15%. Now, when I change numbers here, this number changes here. If I'm going over 100%, I'm over budget. I need to make adjustments. Whatever this number is here is going to show me my profit margin. So let's just say this number's at 100%. That leaves no percentage for profit for me. Okay. So if I want to make a profit for the month, then where can I cut my costs? Well, I can cut my support staff. Maybe I cut my support staff to 10% for next month so that I can at least make a 5% profit margin. That leaves me with $5,000 for the month for payroll. So when I'm looking at this, when I'm budgeting, who are my key players that I know I have to pay in payroll? Well, that's going to be my manager. It's going to be my marketing director, and it's going to be my salon coordinator. Those are my three key players in my business. My marketing director is salary. So I know no matter what, like I need to take her payroll out because she's a non-negotiable. And then I play around with the other numbers, and that gives me $1,250 every week for payroll. Okay. I use Square. Square will, when I'm doing my schedule, Square will give me a projected amount that will show me what my payroll is every week when I make my schedule. So I know I have to cut costs there. Then I'm looking at, okay, so my support staff is good, my rent is good, back bar and supplies. Usually you don't want it to be any more than 7%. We are set at 6% here. That gives me $3,000 for spending on color, gloves, foils. That gives me, any snacks and amenities, or not, actually amenities are down here. That's, any supplies that I need. I have $3,000 for the month. When I'm looking here, I'm doing 1% for amenities, which can be kind of high. I have $500 for snacks and different things for my clients coming in. If you have a loan payment, like make sure that's correct. Liability insurance, utilities, like these are all things that like usually are fixed and that don't change. Again, you need to adjust the percentage in order to make sure that these numbers match up properly. So this will give me an understanding of what my payroll will look like per week, roughly. And this will give me an idea of what my profit margin will be for the month. Does everyone understand this spreadsheet and how to adjust it to customize what your business needs are? So this is monthly, then we go in weekly. When I'm looking at this, I just break the numbers down into 4. So I'll take $50,000 and I'll divide it by 4. And then that's what, my weekly numbers look like if you want to do weekly. So you can do weekly. I like to do monthly and weekly just to get an idea. You can also utilize this to, look at growth. Say, your last year you did 50,000, but maybe this year you want to do 70,000. What does that look like for you? I project that I want to do $20,000 more next month. Like, that's great, right? So what do you need to adjust here? And then what can your profit margin and all the things look like? Does everyone understand the spreadsheets? Did I go over them? I know I talked kind of quick and I just kind of gave so much information, but these are all the things that I utilize in my business to make sure that I am financially prepared for every single year, every single month, and every single week. And again, when we know our numbers, we can actually measure our growth and our success. But we have to look at the facts of our business. And I think when we actually look at our numbers, a lot of people are afraid because we're afraid we're going to see something we don't want or something that isn't good. And most of the time when I'm like panicking and I'm like, oh my God, we're so slow. Oh, this just like I look at the schedule and I'm like, oh my God, we have so many openings. But when I actually look at the numbers and I'm like, we actually did really good last week, even though, maybe the salon was 60% booked. We did just as much last year, or we did just as much this year as we did last year, or maybe we even grew. So we have to look at the facts. We can't give into the fears or make assumptions about our business without looking at our numbers first. Okay, I hope this was beneficial for everybody. I hope I didn't just throw all of this information at you. And I hope that you all retained it and understand it. Play around with the actual spreadsheets. DM me on Instagram and let me know like if you had any aha moments or if anything was beneficial for you. I really appreciate that. And I know Megan will probably be sending out a survey, so I appreciate it if you take the time to fill out the survey about today's session. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. Okay, bye.